Good day, everyone. You're welcome to the part two of our mental health talk. Today, we'll be discussing on good coping abilities or healthy habits for good mental health. Healthy habits for good mental health. We need to discuss about the coping mechanisms for good mental health. In my last video, we talked about the concept of mental health, different types of triggers, and how to know your triggers. I gave you an assignment to do an introspection so that you can identify your own triggers. And I'll just do a brief recap of what we discussed in the part one of this video. This is the part two. So if you have not watched part one, please go to my page. You will see the part one video there. Now, there are two types of triggers according to rcplondon.ac.uk. You have domestic triggers and professional triggers. Under professional triggers, you have the appraisals, revalidation. Some organizations, you must do appraisals, so it could be quarterly appraisals or annual appraisals. Sometimes when these appraisals are approaching, it keeps people on their toes. It can mess up with your mental health. And then you have heavy workloads. It might be that you're a student, you have lots of assignments, projects to do. It will mess up with your mental health. It can trigger you to react in a way. And then under professional triggers as well, we have working out of hours for those that do overtime. In some organizations, the overtime is not compensated, and then you have to do it. Of course, if you don't do it, then you go elsewhere. Can't seek for employment elsewhere, right? So these two can mess up with your mental health, right? And in under domestic triggers, we have dealing with a well spouse, right, or partner, or it can be a child, your sibling, or even your parents. And bereavement, loss of a loved one, missing important events. You can imagine you're at work, you're busy, you have a tight schedule, and your child must have informed you before going to work that, oh, mommy, daddy, we have a PTA meeting or we have an open day, and then because you are overwhelmed, you're submerged in work, you just forgot. You will be so hard on yourself that, what? How did I miss it? And definitely your child will not be happy. So this can also mess up with your mental health, right? It can also be ill health as well. So these are different types of triggers under domestic triggers and then professional triggers. Having said all of this, how do you know your triggers? The key factor in knowing your trigger is self-awareness. You can only know your triggers via self-awareness. And what's this process of self-awareness? It is asking self a couple of questions. I'm going to say these questions and then you are going to ask yourself and jot down your answers. Or take a mental note of your answers. Question 1 that you ask self: what makes you stressed? Question 1: what makes you stressed? I've answered that question. I want you to answer that question. What makes you stressed? Whether you're at home or you're at work, what makes you stressed as an individual? Question 2: when you're at work or you're at home or you're at school, what makes you angry? Question 1 is what makes you stressed. Question 2 now is when you're at work or you're at home or you're at school, what makes you angry? Question 3, how do you react when you're stressed? How do you react when you're stressed? Do you snap? Do you flip? Do you hit objects? How do you react? Question 4, are there other methods or other ways in which you can react? So you can see question 3 says, how do you react? Now you ask yourself, is your reaction positive or negative or hyper negative? Then question 4, are there other ways in which you can react? For instance, if in question 3, if you are stressed, you hit objects, you can break bottle or hit the wall. Are there better ways in which you can react other than hitting the wall? Ask yourself these questions. And then by answering these questions, you're taking yourself through a journey, a process of self-awareness for you to know your triggers. Now that you have answered those questions and you have known your triggers, let's discuss how you can coping abilities, good habits that you can maintain that are healthy for you in having a good mental health. 1, rant to a wall or a mirror. I do this a lot. I just come to the mirror, mirror on the wall. So and so did this to me. I am pissed. I said this, I said that. Rant to a wall. Number 2, try the breathing technique. When you are feeling overwhelmed, breathe in, breathe out. Inhale and exhale for about 5 minutes. And you see that you'll be better. Point 3, when you're angry, count 1 to 10. You see, sometimes you get these emails, right? And then the emails, they will not meet you in a very good state. And then you want to be a keypad warrior to, quickly respond. Just count 1 to 10. Once you count 1 to 10, you'll be calmer. And then your response will be better. 4, pour out your mind to someone. Pour out your mind to someone. Look for a confidant, someone that would not, would share your information, will be confidential. Rant to that person. You feel lighter. Get a journal, record your achievements. Or this month I did this, I did that. Journal, because it will help you in practicing gratitude, which is the next point. Point 6 is to practice gratitude. You can't have everything in this life, right? So practice gratitude. God will not want to give you everything at all, because if He does, then we will not be able to. We can do without Him, right? So one thing at a time. So whatever you have at the moment, be grateful for it. 7, use a mirror for affirmations. Positive affirmations. I am blessed. I am favored. Right? Say positive things to yourself every day. Maybe in the morning or at night before going to bed. Point 8, eat well and get adequate sleep. Point 9, develop coping strategies for yourself. 10, prioritize exercise. And 11, engage in meditation. Meditate on the Word of God. In conclusion, being self-aware is key to having a good mental health. Understand yourself and know your triggers, right? Because when you learn to manage your stress and emotions, it will be better. You will be better for it. Know your thresholds and your limits. And above all, be contented. Discontentment messes up with your mental health. So be grateful for everything. Practice gratitude, and you see that you will develop a good mental health. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.